Hi everyone, welcome to Wedding Wednesday. My name is Michelle and I'm the owner of McEllis Brides Design Studio in Hampton, Virginia. And on Wednesdays, I share with you guys wedding day tips, tricks, and hacks for your big day. Today, I'm going to be showing you a DIY project. It is a DIY brooch bouquet. I did this bouquet a while back for one of my brides, and I wanted to share the footage with you guys just in case you were interested in doing it yourself. That's what DIY stands for, doing your own brooch bouquet for your wedding. This video is a little bit long. I wanted to make sure I gave you all of the steps and you could see most of the processes. I sped through the parts that I could, sped up the playback as much as I could, but I also wanted to make sure that you could see everything that I did so you could replicate it yourself if you wanted to. Also, because this video is so long, I'm going to leave a lot of info in the description box as far as links to where I got things from, the links of the pearls and the bling and things like that. So that way, if you're going shopping, you'll be able to quickly access that info. And once you get to actually making your brooch bouquet, then you'll be able to follow along step by step. All right, let's jump right in. Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a brooch bouquet. On the table here, I have all of the supplies that we'll need. I'm going to go ahead and list them. And if you feel like I'm going too fast, I'll have all of the items in the description box. So the first thing that I have here, actually, I'm going back because this is a voiceover. I forgot to mention or have my measuring tape on the table, so you'll need a measuring tape. The green little sticks that I was just holding in my hand, they are gauge wires, 26-inch gauge wire. Those are cut in half. You'll need some wire cutters. You will need a glue gun and glue sticks. That's a high temp glue gun. It's kind of a smaller glue gun for this particular project. If you can find a larger one for a decent price, I would invest in it. It would make it go a little bit faster. Next is a bouquet handle. You'll need an Exacto knife, a half foam ball, and what I'm picking up next here, they are some pearls for the drape on the front of the bouquet. Those, I believe, are ivory pearls. I have some iridescent pearls, white pearls, and some rhinestone garland. And I got all of these in different size pearls. But I just had in my hand, that is a bouquet collar. You'll also need whatever flowers you're going to use. I'm going to use hydrangeas and calla lilies. And you'll need your brooches, of course. All size brooches, small, medium, and you'll need one extra large brooch for the centerpiece. And I got these off Amazon. They are literally brooches. It has the pin on the back. I'm going to show you here. You can snip those off the backs with your wire cutters if you like. But I'm going to show you how I attached it to the wire, and that's how they were attached to the foam. That's how I stuck them inside of the foam. Here I'm going to show you my extra large brooch. You only need one of these. So you need one extra large brooch for the center. So cute. Got all of the brooches from Amazon. And you'll need some floral pins. That little silver thing. I'm showing you guys more brooches. Just different sizes. Pearls, bling, whatever you like. Right there. You'll need, of quite a few of those floral pins. And that's all the supplies. Okay, so we're going to start with the garland. And here's where you'll need the measuring tape. You also need a pencil. And you're just going to section off the foam ball into 4. So that way we'll ensure that our garland, our little rhinestone and pearl garland that's going to hang from the front, is directly in the center. So I'm just drawing a line at the halfway point. The easiest way to do it is just to measure. If you can eyeball stuff, and draw in a straight line, awesome, but I cannot. The easiest way is just to get a measuring tape and measure it. And I'm just marking it with the pencil. And here I'm going to see from that line that I made from left to right, from right to left, whichever way, it was 12 inches. So I just divided that in half to 6. And that's where I'll make my next mark. So I know where to stick our floral pins to hold the garland in place. So I'm just making my marks and then rechecking my measurements. And once you have that all lined up, we'll be able to start on our garland. So next we will take our foam half and get it prepped for the bouquet handle. So you just place your bouquet handle in the center, where the center should be, where we want it to be, and just make a cut around it with the Exacto knife. We want to make sure that that bouquet handle is flush up against the foam, that is fitted really tightly and neatly inside of that foam. So take this part a little slowly. You don't have to try to do this part too fast. Just because if you mess up your foam, you'll have to go buy another one. So take your time on this part. I'm going to fast forward through it, and you'll see where I'll cut it with the Exacto knife. I'll scoop some out with a spoon, put it in there, see how much more I need to take out. Instead of just trying to do it all in one swoop, I'll likely take too much out if I do it like that, and then I'll have to get another piece of foam. That's no fun going back to the store. All right, so once you have scooped out enough of the foam, you'll want to put your bouquet holder inside and then place the collar on top of it just to make sure it's flush before you glue everything down. If it looks good, go ahead and take that bouquet collar off. And we're going to hot glue the bouquet holder to the foam. And the only reason why we're doing it this way, instead of just simply attaching everything into the bouquet holder, is because we wouldn't have gotten the size. There's just not, there just wasn't one with the size dimension that the bride needed for this particular wedding. It would have come out really small if we tried to use that. And that bouquet holder is also for fresh flowers, and we are using silk. But the handle was pretty. So that's why I went this route. And I'm putting the glue, hot glue, on the holder. You can't see it. I angled the camera down thinking that that would help you see everything, but I just covered that with some hot glue. And then we're just going to let it sit for a couple minutes and let it really firm up before we move on. I'm just adding a lot more glue. And this is where if you had a larger glue gun, is where we used a lot of glue, and it would have come in handy, and I wouldn't have had to keep refilling the sticks so often if I had an appropriate size. And as you can see, I'm just kind of filling in some pieces where I feel like it might become a little loose with some of the foam that I scooped out. And just really making sure it's snug inside of that hole that we dug out. Okay, so once that is done, like I said, I'd let it sit for 10-20 minutes, however long, to make sure that the glue dried and that it was really secure in there. And then you can put on your collar. Well, you can actually go ahead and glue your collar on now. That's what I'm doing now, is putting some glue around the outside where the collar will sit. And you can test this first before you put your glue down, put your collar on. Make sure that the glue has dried a little before you do that, so you don't mess up what you already have done. And you'll just slide that on and give it another 10 minutes to make sure that the glue is dried and that it's really secure in there. And you can see it's already starting to come together. All right, so we are ready for the next part. I am straightening out the pearl garland. I've already cut it to the lengths that I wanted. I believe the longest garland was 35 inches and the shortest was 12. And I just, like I said, I did iridescent, white, ivory, and a little bit of rhinestone. And I hope you guys can see my center line that I drew on in the beginning. And that's how I'm just going to start with my shortest strand and make sure I'm staying in the middle of those sections that I drew on. So that center line, I'll make sure that my first one is right there. And then I also don't want to go past the two lines that I drew on the left and the right. And I'm just attaching the pearls with the floral pins, and I'll add a little hot glue on them once I'm sure they're where I want them. Also, I found it a lot easier once I put the bouquet inside of a vase. So that way I wasn't struggling to hold it and center all at the same time. So I'm just going to keep layering these on. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit. You'll see me putting in, taking it out, but don't glue it down until you're sure that you like where you have it. Okay, so here is the final product. I ended up adding an extra rhinestone strand in there. I took away, I think, 2 of the pearl strands, the longest 2, just because I felt like it was full and I liked how it looked, so I stopped. But that's totally up to you. All right, so what I did here, or what I did next, was I started to fill in the foam with the hydrangea bush, and it was just too full with the brooches that I was going to add, with adding the hydrangea just by the stem and the calla lilies. So I cut the hydrangea flowers off of off of the bunch and glued them on individually by the stem. And I did this just so the entire foam ball would be completely covered before I added any rhinestones, so you would never see any of the foam. I'm just punching little holes, trying to skip those big gaping holes that I made. But I'm going to fill those too. And I'll let you watch a couple of them, and then I'll speed it up a little bit. So again, I'm just taking the bottom of the stem and making some little holes. This makes it easier to stay in. All right, so from here, I'm just going to speed this up. Just going to pretty much do the same process until the entire foam ball is covered. Okay, so the bouquet is now covered. It is completely covered in hydrangeas, and now we're ready for the brooches. And you want to start with your center brooch. The biggest brooch that you have for this project, find that one and put it right in the middle of your garland. If you put garland up here, or just find the center and start with that. This is also where you'll where you'll need your wire, that green wire that I showed you earlier. And I just simply wrapped the wire around the pin, the brooch part where you would normally pin it into your clothes. Secured it with a little dab of glue, twisted it up to kind of make me like a little stick. And again, guys, I always poke first, make sure it's where I like it, and then I glue it down. So make sure it's where you want it, and if you like it, take it out. Put some glue on that wire to make sure it doesn't come out, and reinsert it. And once you have your center brooch in place, I like to kind of do it section by section. So kind of how we broke down the ball into 4 sections. Remember when I drew the line and broke it down 4 ways? I kind of like to visualize it that way. So I'm going to focus on this very front section here and completely fill that in, and then I'll move on. And as you see, I'm just adding some more glue to secure this down. And after that center brooch is in place, I don't have any rhyme or reason how I'm placing the rest of the brooches. As long as that one is in the middle, it's the biggest, I just take my wire, wrap it around the pin of the brooch, and I just fill it in. Okay, so I slowed it down right here, or put it back to regular speed just so I could show you guys. For some of the smaller brooches, it was easier to attach the wire once I cut off the pin with the wire cutters. If your brooches that are filling in around the center brooches are smaller, you can cut off that brooch pin, and I glued the wire directly to the brooch, so that way it laid completely flat. And you see how I have my little ones, they're real set up. They're already set up, and I would just let it kind of sit there after I put that puddle of glue and let the glue get hard. So if they're not too heavy, you do not have to use the actual pin of the brooch. You can clip it off so it'll lay flatter. And I just clipped it off with the wire cutter. And as you can see, I kind of let some set up. Like I would do a couple, I would do like 10 at a time. Let the glue set up so it'll be nice and sturdy. Stick those in, fill in a section, and then I would repeat the process. Pull the backs off, glue the wire on, let it set up for a couple minutes, insert them, and then move on. Okay, so I'm slowing it down to give you guys a little update. I have one section finished here. Also, while I was finishing up this section, the bride loves calla lilies, so I needed to incorporate them somewhere, and I just felt like they looked nice up there. She also has feathers on her dress, so I incorporated some feathers at the top. They did have some like little brooches or some little jewels on them already. Got those from Hobby Lobby. And I just added those in there. And now I'm going to continue just filling in the other 3 sections with brooches. So you'll want to take your larger brooches and put them right down the center, just following that first center brooch. Put your larger brooches down the center there, and that way it'll help you section off the other sections, and you can fill those in with smaller brooches. Okay, and here we are. Here's the finished bouquet, the finished brooch bouquet. Got all of our elements there, our brooches, hydrangeas, calla lilies, feathers, our pearls, our bling. And I will leave all the links to the items that I used in the description box. And let me know if there are any other DIY tutorials that you're looking for. If there's a different style of bouquet that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments section. And thank you all for watching. Bye.